This way? Hidden treasure. Dead. Diary, a journal of a desperate man. Most pages are filled with professions of love made to a woman named Charlotte. Entries are chaotic, undated. Charlotte Cotton is the love of my life. When she's not near me, I burn with longing. I suffocate with loneliness. I suffer the worst possible torment. How can I make her understand I, not Albert, am our destiny? Illegible fragment. I found a solution. The witch from Link's Crag. She'll help me end my heart's agony. I shall now have untied my belt several notches. But I've purchased a magic elixir from the witch. She said if I convince my beloved to drink it, I'll be able to forget my problems forever. I sold the rest of my possessions and purchased jewels to give Charlotte when I propose. Gods, soon now she shall be mine. I know how this is gonna go. As the witch instructed, I mixed the elixir with wine. I prepared a small picnic near the chapel at Cotton Manor. My beloved agreed to meet to talk to me, but though she drank my enchanted est, she still refused my proposal. She spouted some nonsense, but only becoming my wife when the jewels I gave her grow into grapevines. She also spouted some nonsense, but only becoming my wife when the jewels I gave her grow into grapevines. She fell into a strange hysterical mood, and buried my present with her bare hands by their family chapel. Perhaps I need to wait before the elixir takes effect? Gods! Curses upon that cruel witch! She cheated me! She betrayed! Legible fragment. Next day I went to Cotton Manor to see Charlotte, but instead, one monstrosity had taken over their entire property. So that is the end to my heart's suffering the foul enchantress spoke of. The elixir brought about the death of my beloved. But death shall not separate us. I'm ready to die, to live with her for all eternity. Legible fragment. I shall hang for my sins, for love, for Charlotte. So did it make her into the thingamajig? Leshen 2.0 or not? Actually, it seems to be weaker than a Leshen, but maybe I'm comparing it to an ancient Leshen, so but or did it just merely summon one in, like attract one to her? The beast is down under this. When Geralt identified the beast, he discovered it was a higher vampire, meaning one of the most difficult foes a witcher can come to face. Our vampires are superhumanly strong and fast. They can turn completely invisible. Each comes with its own specialized set of talents and abilities perfected through centuries of existence. When Geralt realized he was dealing with such a creature, he swallowed foully and realized the rumors about the beast had not been exaggerated in the slightest. The girl walked up to the edge of the pond. There, squatting amidst the fragrant lilies and broad lily pads, she saw a most unusual sight. A small green frog, with a golden crown perched on its warty head. Charmed by this curious little creature, the girl picked it up and gave it a kiss. Immediately the little frog transformed into a handsome prince. Overcome with gratitude, he asked the girl to be his wife. Folktale, author unknown. Don't frogs or toads secreted an hallucinogenic? I think that's the crux of the story. The little girl be trippin', yo. Timeless tales always carry with them a grain of truth. The legend of the Frog Prince is no exception, or at least that's what the folk of Oxenford wished to believe when they found the monstrous toad lurked in their sewers. The women who hunted in search of romance and a better life, however, found their tales had a most unhappy ending. The creature they encountered was no small sweet frog, but a bloodthirsty beast, who did not let them in for a kiss, but instead would greedily devour them and anything else and straight into its slime-covered lair. Shrieker. Heard you have a problem. A monster you call a Shrieker. Aye, prowls about it does. Snatches cows and goats mostly. Won't scorn a man if it runs into one. Conversation overheard at Crow's Perch. The monster tormenting the residents of Crow's Perch turned out to be a particularly nasty cockatrice. Geralt was not surprised that the Baron's men had been unable to stop it, could possibly withstand the surgical precision of its strikes, which slice open arteries and provoke an outpouring of blood, only a swallow potion would hope to stop. Neither did he know to force it to the ground with a crossbow, a bomb, or a sign, then evade its charge by rolling under the monster's outstretched wing. Just when it seemed the villagers would have to learn to live in the shadow of a bloodthirsty beast, they always looked to the sky with fear, the Witcher arrived, put an end to the Shrieker for good. Happened like this. Nasty rain caught me while I was out in the woods, so I thought to myself, I'll hide in some hollow, for God's sake. For God's sake, I'll get soaked through and catch a cold at my age. So I crawled into a cave, and there inside something roars at me. Tore there so fast, wind had dried my coat by the time I got home. Beledal, herbalist. No one knows exactly when the spriggan called GotY first made its home in the caves at the foot of Mount Gorgon. Spriggans usually prefer isolated backwoods and rarely make dens in caverns. Yet GotY seems to take a liking to grottos, giving rise to its nickname. The monster was quite well known among Bukhara knights, who often talked of it as a potential source of great glory. None were particularly eager to actually engage the monster in combat, however. None, that is, except for the young knight Francois. Shelmar from the Emperor of Nilfgaard. Gladiator fights in massive arenas are a popular form of entertainment in Nilfgaard. Usually the fighters are slaves, specifically trained for this purpose. Yet at times arena masters pit humans against monsters. Shelmar Geralt had to fight in the tourney grounds was a present from the Emperor to his relative, Duchess Anna Henrietta. It had been caught while young and prepared for its ultimate purpose by Nilfgaardian trainers. This does not mean it was tame, however. In fact, its wildness and inborn ferocity had not been dulled one whit. Like all creatures of its species, it was blind, but could unerringly point to its opponent's location, using echolocation. Shelmar had thick armor and near impenetrable skin. It could also roll into a ball and charge its opponents. Its underbelly, however, was relatively vulnerable, being exposed when its charge failed. In the end, though the fight was long and difficult, Geralt defeated Shelmar, and when Duchess called for the sands for him to finish the beast off, he duly dealt the final blow. And then just Shelmar's as a whole. The gift one has a different hue. The Earth's innards are home. No quote on the other one. The Earth's innards are home to mighty, strange, and fearsome beasts. Were they to ever decide to ramble up to the surface, will all be gutted at the very first day of the invasion. Ramus Venderats, Mahakaman Foreman. Shelmar spend most of their lives deep underground, having no contact with the world up above. At times, however, Shelmar will dig its way to the surface for any man within its reach. Some Shelmars also burrow tunnels close to the surface, collapsing buildings and causing tremors in the process. Since Shelmars are blind, they find their way by sensing vibrations and listening for sounds. Those best tactic when fighting such a monster throw something heavy or noisy against a nearby boulder or wall. Then pray silently that the beast will roll into the obstacle, knock itself out upon striking. Roll towards sound and knock itself out upon striking into the obstacle. Spriggans. I was gathering berries, as one does this time of year, when suddenly the tree shook and I saw this thing. A fragment of a story told by a woman returning from the woods. Spriggans are a subspecies of the monsters known as Leshens. One is liable to come across them in inaccessible, infrequented woodlands. They don't usually attack humans if unprovoked, but when irritated they can be quite fearsome, and as they possess considerable strength, they're capable of doing great damage. Their appetite is such that they can devour more flesh than an army at a wedding. Each spriggan has mastery over plants and is inextricably tied to them. Thus, if someone destroys greenery in its domain, it will immediately come to punish the disturber. Sylvans. Sylvans are cruel, greedy, and treacherous. Still, I prefer them to the Dwan. Yavin, legendary Scoia'tael commander. Only appeared in the first game, as far as I've. Yavin wasn't the guy from the second game, was he? He was the guy from the first, I think. Sylvans and Yakshas, a kindred species, extremely rare woodland creatures, whose appearance combines traits of goats and rotund men. These beings usually pose little danger, for their limited contact with humans displaying harmless, though often bothersome tricks, eating crops from the fields. Keranan. We told the prick something lurked in them woods, but he refused to believe it. Lewis Kostar, woodcutter. Novigrad, the greatest metropolis in the world, the acme of civilization, material proof, or one is tempted to think, of mankind's ability to tame and control nature. Yet right outside the city walls lies the Novigrad wilderness, and whoever sets foot in it shall soon find out that man's primacy does not extend past the city walls. One of the monsters who made its lair in that thick tangle was an old, powerful Leshen. It killed any who strayed into its domain, with its species' characteristic cruelty, lacerating them with razor-sharp claws, sending strangling plants shooting out of the ground, or feeding them to packs of hungry wolves. If not for its vulnerability to fire, the Igni sign included, and the protection of the Quint sign, one could wager not even the toughest witcher would be able to slay the beast. GotY was only able to finally put an end to this lesson after a long, exhausting battle. Once the beast died, the way was clear for loggers to move into his former domain. Woods will now gradually fall to the axe. Perhaps they'll disappear altogether, and their monstrous denizens along with them. Really want to see an angry witcher? Do you? A conversation overheard in streets of Novigrad. The imp pestering the merchants in Novigrad turned out to be a doppler. These monsters usually avoid confrontation, to everyone's extreme relief, for when pinned they become extremely dangerous. Fighting them quickly turns into a fight against oneself, a fight against a mirror image gifted with one's own strengths and abilities. In a conflict with such even odds, only luck or destiny decides the victor. Geralt has an extra helping boat, so won his fight against Doppelganger, and decided to let him go free. For unlike other monsters, this creature's motives for harming humans were noble. Hey folks, and I'm back.
I've not seen a bumper crop like this in ages.
Trading the shell.
It's a pleasure to have you in Tucson.
Hard leather, fused crystal, dimetarium ore, or calcum ore, 306 crowns, a diamond, a ruby, and 25 florins.
Bloody hell.
And who are you?
Greetings.
Photostair runes. Once upon a time, the lord of Epica, mounted his steed and vowed to complete a full circuit around the castle, riding atop its walls. Slightly did not fulfill his oath and instead plummeted to his doom after a few paces. Conagard, his beautiful daughter, swore that day she would only marry the man who could finish her father's deed. Many a stripling lad lost his life attempting to fulfill that comely maiden's cruel condition. When finally one succeeded, he conveyed the carnage she had wrought, and said that she was unworthy of his affections. Realizing with despair how despicably she acted, Conagard threw herself from the castle walls, dying against the rocks below, like so many of her unfortunate suitors. Yeah, that fits with the whole fairy tale nature of the place. Back or bum, did he say? Can't tell with the accent. Yeah, but yeah, it fits well with the fairy tale kind of thing of the setting. Field of random horses. Absolutely no interest to me.
Witcher or not, you still bust.
Come on.
Wait, what?
You make mountains out of
Not
molehills,
even
Vilma.
a draft horse
It'll be
would
better than
pass
fight.
down some
I must
cannon.
insist, Count. You'll be much, much the safer with us at your side.
Count, if I may, I believe Vilmar's in the right. There's no knowing what lurks in these wilds.
Lads, I find your concern touching, I do. Yet I've long awaited this day. So, you must forgive me, but I shall go through with it as planned. Ah, it seems my guide has arrived.
Oh, this was for a quest. Whoops.
Greetings to you, White Wolf. I presume you saw my notice? Foolish question. You're here, thus you must have seen it. Forgive me, I should introduce myself. Count Beledal, a great admirer of your deeds.
Thanks. Not something we Witchers hear often.
But Count, sir, do you mean to go off with just this Witcher? A right hardy fellow he is, no ponce, I'm sure. But your expedition's too risky on the whole. And not taking us with you's, pardon my saying it, right daft.
You exaggerate, Vilmar. I believe I can manage to survive half a day without someone there to wipe me arse in my stead. My guards lament, Witcher, but you must forgive them. Now, to get down to brass tacks. As you've no doubt gleaned from the notice, I've a rather extraordinary proposition for you. I'm a lover, Witcher, of nature. A devotee of the wild. And Toussaint is home to several species not encountered elsewhere. I'd like you to accompany me on an expedition whose aim is to preserve them. Ah, yes. Naturally, you'll protect me should the need arise. My ever-vigilant guards, see, will report any reckless behaviour to my wife if I get so much as a scratch. And then woe will be me.
Imagining preserve them is less in the zoo sort of way and more in the museum sort of way, or mantelpiece.
Count Beledal? Famous poultry farmer, is that it?
Well, that was my grandpapa. Dear man. But my trade is the wine trade. I import the finest vintages to Covea, my homeland. The very reason for my frequent visits to Beauclair, during which I like to partake of nature, let us say.
Really need a Witcher to partake? Got guards of your own. Take them, save some coin.
I could, surely. But they too deserve a bit of rest, relaxation. Right, lads? Besides, I've plenty of coin. Coin that needs spending. Who dares stop me?
Ah, so this is about a rich man, bored stiff, seeking thrills.
There's also Clarissa, who...
Vilma, please.
Who what?
My daughter. I always return from my travels with some souvenir or another. She looks forward to them tremendously. But, we did not meet to chat about my family. We must discuss our venture, must we not?
Need some details before I can say anything. Where are we going? What am I supposed to do exactly?
In the roundest terms, we shall admire the local flora and fauna. And while we do, I might preserve a thing or two.
Preserve?
Of this device, see, a Parasticerlac. It captures, likenesses.
A paracesta what?
It's like a movable megascope, capturing moments, transforming them into illusions, based upon which I then paint a painting.
So, you want me with you, looking at animals and flowers and...
Well, that's more or less what it amounts to, yes. Except you will first have to track down the creatures I wish to capture. I know only the very approximate locations of their habitats. Well, and should any trouble arise, we'll have your sword at the ready, right? So, agreed?
So basically, he wants to go around, take pictures of things, and then make paintings of them. Sounds cool.
Pretty unusual contract.
I couldn't agree more. Yes. And I'm prepared to pay a commensurately high fee.
Don't mind if we actually talk about exactly how high that'll be first, do you?
Why ever would I? Please, simply tell me how much you wish to receive.
Really, just 200? 230.
Sublime! With a deal!
Doesn't seem hard. Be glad to do something pleasant for a change.
Sublime. In that case, here's your map. Before coming here, I dispatched requests to several local hunters. They located the habitats of the species of interest to me and marked out their ranges on the map.
Good thinking. It'll save us some time. Won't need to track. Ready to go?
Yes, let's. The light seems perfect just now.
One evening I'm off to the hells, quick as a flash. Those girls can't wait to see me.
I think it's over this way.
Seems I got the map, so I'll lead.
Ah, the,
Wouldn't rather be out here with those guards of yours?
You jest. It's deliverance to emerge from under their wings, believe me. Oppressively so. I wish to admire the wildlife, preserve it, not watch them kill it in a fit of misguided fear for my life.
What if the wildlife attacks us?
Then we shall have no other recourse. I do not wish to be something subtle. You? But as long as they remain calm, we've no need to provoke them. It's of the utmost importance to me, in fact.